Hey y'all, my name is Adina Barnett Miller, but I'm known to my students as Mrs. B. I've been passionate about West Virginia history for as long as I can remember, but my mom would tell you it all started when I was 3 years old and she bought me a West Virginia counties puzzle at Gino's Pizza. I've taught history in Ripley, West Virginia for over 20 years now, and I'm an adjunct professor who teaches college West Virginia history to high school students. Please join me for West Virginia History with Mrs. B, a field trip across the Mountain State to walk in the footsteps of those who came before us. Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B, and we are back in Sutton today in Braxton County, and I am standing in front of the Braxton County Courthouse here in the middle of downtown Sutton. And so we've got some signs I want to share with you to tell you a little bit of the history of Braxton County and a little bit of the history of Sutton. And these are in a building here in the middle of town. And so here we go. Good signage. We can read it. It says, how did Braxton County get its name? 10 years after Sutton was incorporated, Braxton County was formed in 1836. So, by the way, Jackson County, where we're from, is 5 years older because it was incorporated in 1831. And so the county is going to be named after Carter Braxton, who was a signer of the Declaration of Independence from the state of Virginia. So remember, in 1836, when this county was established, this was still the state of Virginia. And so it says the town of Sutton became the county seat of Braxton County, and the very first county court was held in the home of John Sutton, the namesake of this community. And so when was the courthouse built? This courthouse was built in 1881-1882. It is a two-story brick structure in the Romanesque style. It has a central bell tower. It was constructed by Wood and Atchison using plans by C.C. Kimball. So the original concept was from Felix Baxter, a local resident, and then they built the jail right there in 1905. And each corner of the building is topped with corn bell turrets and battlements. So let's look at this. So this is quite the older courthouse in West Virginia. A lot of them have been rebuilt, but this is the original that was built here in 1881, 1882. And then that jail is just very cool. It kind of reminds you of like the baby version of the Moundsville Penitentiary. So let's keep going. So Sutton. We are in the Sutton Historic District. It says it consists of 11 square blocks. 3 blocks of Main Street are paved with bricks that were built and installed in 1904. So if you look just right down there, that's the original 1904 brick street, which I swear is going to be here long after we're gone. So where did the name come from? Sutton settled in 1792 by Adam O'Brien from Bath County. Well, it wasn't Bath County yet, it was still Greenbrier County. Originally it was a village known as Newville. Sutton settles at the confluence of Granny's Creek and the Elk, which is at the edge of town. If you just go right down that street again, that's where Granny's Creek and the Elk is. He donated the land for the streets, the public courtyard, courthouse, and the jail. It was known as Newville, then Suttonville, and then they finally settled on the name of Sutton, honoring John Sutton's land donation. All right, let's keep going. So it says, why is Sutton on the Civil War Trail? Well, part of that has to do with the fact that we're in the geographic and population center of the state of West Virginia. And so it was one of the major north-south routes through the region. It was a strategic point. Many battles and skirmishes are going to be fought here over control over, those routes from north to south. And it says that in officers' memoirs of the Battle of Carnifex Ferry, which is down in Nicholas County, it says Sutton was described as the most important military post in the interior. So it says, what happened? So the question is, what happened? 10,000 Union troops were deployed in and around Sutton on the way to Carnifex Ferry, which is down in Nicholas County, right near Summersville Lake today. And among those was William McKinley, who's going to be president of the United States. They're going to have Union troops staying here in Sutton for 5 days. They'll occupy the Camden Hotel, use it as officers' quarters. And soon afterwards, the Camden Hotel, along with most of the town, is going to be burned to the ground by Confederate troops because this had been occupied by Union troops. And one of the 4 homes remained standing after the burning of Sutton, and it'll be rebuilt very slowly until this, and an agricultural community until the timber industry starts booming here in Sutton. All right, let's keep going. So it says, what is the town of Sutton most known for? And that is timber, timber, timber. The opening of the Pardee and Curtin Lumber Company in 1889 marked the beginning of 30 years of the timber boom. This town became a commercial center with many banks, hotels, and shops. And it says, looking at the turn of the century architecture, you can see there were grand homes and, you know, a lot of wealth in Sutton. And most of the historic buildings in Sutton were built between 1890 and 1950. And then it says, is there specific info? You can always go and use the website to learn more. And so here is how the town of Sutton was laid out. And we are currently right on Main Street across from the courthouse. So Sutton is an adorable little town. I think it's going to make quite the comeback here when it comes to exciting tourism and things. And so I think that, you know, tourism and the river and fishing and camping is really going to put Braxton County on the map, because people like to come here. People love to come here because it is a beautiful and wonderful place here in West Virginia. Hey you all, we are now on the courthouse lawn at the Braxton County Courthouse. Just to give you a little background on like Dave and I's process, we usually have a pretty good idea of what we're going to go do, and we do it. And sometimes we get videos and we're like, well, we're missing something. And so as we were watching videos this evening, I was like, we're missing something from the video we recorded this morning. So that's what we're doing right now. We're giving you what we felt was missing from the Sutton Braxton County Courthouse video, and that is the monuments here on the courthouse lawn. And so this one is in recognition of Brigadier General James McLaughlin, who was a Braxton County native, World War II veteran. He was the founder and commander of the West Virginia Air National Guard. And General Hoyer said of him, he was a World War II hero and West Virginia legend. I think that's pretty cool. So this was just put here last year in 2023. And for a monument that's much older, this was put here by the Daughters of the American Revolution in honor of the Revolutionary soldiers that were buried in Braxton County. And so there are 6 of them. And of course they've left places for war, and so those Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried here include Andrew Skidmore, Charles Francis Bogus Jr., Jacob Fisher, Peter Shields, John Dobbins, and Patrick Murphy. And so the one that's the oldest would be Andrew Skidmore. He was born in 1750 and he was buried in 1827. And so they're all kind of in that 1750s, 60s range. Oh, well, actually, John Dobbins was born in 1747, and he'll live till 1839. So he'll outlive almost all of them, except for Jacob Fisher, who lives to 1846. So very cool. And then we've got another memorial here, which was to Wesley Frame Jr. Since he was a native son of Braxton County, and he was killed in the line of duty serving his state in Monroe County, West Virginia. And so this was dedicated in 2022. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is this World War I. Of course, it says World War 1917-1918 because they didn't know World War II was coming. This is the honor roll put here by the American Legion for those from Braxton County. So this is the B's through the H's, and then the other half are over here. Here's the end of the H's to the Y's. So, and then that cannon is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and it looks like there may have been a statue here at one point.
Yes. Well, you can see where the feet were. So I don't know who was here, but they're not here anymore. So if anybody knows, you should let us know who used to stand here, because it definitely looks like someone's feet were here at one time.
And there's another
monument just like it
down on the other end.
And it doesn't have a statue either. It doesn't have anything on it, so that's why we're not even taking you down there. But this courthouse square, it's kind of what I feel like our ancestors probably wanted courthouse squares to look like. It's serene. It's still doing what it was intended to do, you know, 150 years later or whatever.
It is an absolutely beautiful building, and then when you have the former jail right next door.
Yeah, we learned this morning too that this building, because the town of Sutton was burned during the Civil War, that this building was built to be fireproof, because they didn't want to have to rebuild another courthouse after the first one burned in the Civil War. So they took huge steps to make sure that this building didn't burn down, and that's why it's been here since the 1880s, and hopefully will be here for many more decades to come. So thanks for joining us in Sutton in Braxton County and talking about the county seat of Braxton County. Thanks y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to West Virginia History with Mrs. B on both Facebook and YouTube.